What does serving God look like to you? Do you invite Him into every area of your life? Welcome to PSA. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tanya. I'm the wife of Felix, who you hear an encouragement from every week. I'm also the mother to a beautiful and gregarious 4-year-old boy named Lion. I'm sure you can hear in my voice that I'm under the weather. For the past 2 weeks, our family has been hit with the craziest virus. There is something extra violent when your child gets you sick. It should be given its own strain because I've never known anything like it, so pray for me because we're almost on the mend. This season has been one of great sacrifice and great change for our family. Our family business is going on to its 10th year of business in downtown LA, and after almost losing it during the lockdowns, we have had our busiest season in years. I have taken on a new role as the design director of a brand that is making its own mark in the industry. And my son is the face of our kids' clothing brand, The Tribe of Lion, but he's finding his own successes on TikTok by landing 2 major brand deals this week. And the list goes on in blessings and accolades alike. And I say this not to boast, but just to remind myself that God has been good in the valley and in the mountaintop. Not long ago, it felt like we were in a long period of drought and instability where every day was met with obstacles that we didn't know if we had the tools or the capacity to overcome. In seasons like those, my coping mechanism is to become apathetic or numb myself to the severity of the challenge that's thrown our way. But I'm reminded that there is nothing wasted with God. It's all just building material. We have the choice to build our kingdom or the kingdom. And I want to always choose to build something that will stand the test of time. In the passage that I'm about to read in 1 Corinthians, Paul's writing to the Corinthian church and he's correcting them about their understanding of the power of God. So for context, the Corinthian church has been boasting. They've been boasting about how they came to faith in Jesus and which apostle brought them to faith. And Paul interjects in this passage and he corrects them, telling them that they've come to faith not by their works or great preaching or communication, but by the power of God. Their boasting is evidence of their spiritual immaturity and that they were completely oblivious to a coming test, which will put to rest any of this boasting. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, we're starting in verse 5. It says, "What after all is Apollos and what is Paul? Only servants through whom you came to believe, as the Lord has assigned to each his task. I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. The one who plants and the one who waters have one purpose. They will each be rewarded according to their own labor. For we are co-workers in God's service. You are God's field, God's building." We need to understand that when it comes to the things of God, God works through the service of man to cause things to happen. Without the power of God, we can work and toil and have zero results. It's easy to give man all the accolades of the work that God has done. Be wary of glorifying a leader or a teacher or a pastor for their work when it's in fact God working through them. And we all have access to the same power through His Spirit. It's the Spirit of God that lives in us and wants to work powerfully through us. Over the last few years, I have been mourning the loss of my brother and the loss of my church. These two things happened in tandem, and it's felt like a blow that I didn't know that I would recover from. And I began to say things like, ministry isn't for me, or there's plenty of people that God can use, and I'm way too broken to share or to serve or to give. I buried with my brother the desire to be in ministry or to serve God or the church in the way that I once had. Now, I understand that vocational ministry is not the only way to serve God. We do so with many aspects of our life. But in my coping, I shrank my circle to a size that no one would need anything from me beyond what I could bear. But then something began to shift in our new church community where I realized that I had healed from the open wounds that had dictated all of my decisions, that my flesh wounds had slowly turned into scars, and there began to stir up a desire to please God once again through the understanding that God alone saves, but He works through men and women like you and me. I'll say this. If boasting in God's work is spiritual immaturity, then discounting our needs to be part of the process is another form of spiritual immaturity, or evidence that we've not understood the spiritual importance of sharing the gospel. In 1 Corinthians 3, I'm going to read verse 10 to 15, and it says this: "By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation as a wise builder, and someone else is building on it. But each one should build with care. For no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each person's work. And if what has been built survives, the builder will receive a reward. If it is burnt up, the builder will suffer loss, but yet will be saved, even though only as one escaping through the flames." Can I be clear in this? The job is not the reward. It's the opportunity to turn the job to the purpose of the gospel. The scriptures state over and over again that our reward is in heaven. It seems strange to do works for a reward, but just know that our actions are not transactional, because there is no work that we can do that merits the grace that we're given. We're talking about heavenly work here, the risking your relationships by bringing God into the conversation. Just doing the things that are natural, they don't gain you any credit. Being a good employee or a mom or boss, coach, student, these are good things, but they're just that unless we turn the natural into opportunities to draw in the supernatural. The greatest message you will ever preach is the way that you live your life. So this week, let's live loudly. Let's live unapologetically, looking to work faithfully and to serve God with every area that He has entrusted to us. And until next time, let's love more, and I'll see you at the next PSA. Thanks for joining us for this week's PSA. If you made it through the end of this video, thank you for bearing with my voice. Send me a green juice, and definitely check out some of the other messages in the playlist above and share them with the first person that comes to mind. Stay healthy. We'll see you in the next one.